This is an almighty team to use in Open Great League, and today's battles are submitted by a top subscriber of my content here on YouTube, and that is Goetmak. So this trainer is gonna have a ton of action by a Hakamo up in front, followed up by a Shadowfair Alligator and Skarmory. So their notes on this team were to go ahead and at some point aggressively switch out on Shadowfair Alligator so that you can draw out of your opponent's backline the electric type, basically either the Charjabug or the Lantern, so that you can leave some room aside for your Skarmory to sweep whatever remains. So over here now with Feraligatr going down, we're gonna have a ton of action by Skarmory over that Gligar. We can easily wall it down. Goetmak really knows this, and after he goes for the overcharge, and now it's a perfect opportunity to go for the Sky Attack. Now Gligar is pretty low and we can easily finish it off by completely farming it down. Gligar is out of the way. Let's see what lies at the very end. It is the return of the Dugong, which was a horrible lead for our Hakamo, but we still managed to emerge victorious because all that is left is just a simple Gallade, and we can absolutely beat this Pokemon down with a shield advantage. Into the next battle with a horrible lead once again. So this time we're having a Fairy type and on the face of Azumarill. This Pokemon can easily wall us down completely. We need to switch out on our Shadowfair Alligator and hopefully they need to stay in. So Azumarill is gonna stay around, so we're just gonna go for a little bit of extra pressure with our Hydros. One Hydro will drop them very low, and this is why I also enjoy using my Shadow version of Feraligatr. This Pokemon, even when it throws resisted Hydro Cannons, it is gonna deal so much damage on the opponent, and it needs only 5 of those Shadow Claws to get there, which is pretty great. Now with more damage to go on their end, down they go, and we have even that shield scenario. This is absolutely awesome since now they come into the battle with a Carbink and we can absolutely wreak havoc on their defenses with our Skarmory. So Skarmory here will be able to survive the move at the back. They have a Whiskas lurking, so we're just gonna go for the Brave Bird, connecting the move, and right after we can easily farm down completely with our Hakamo. At this point all we need to do is to survive their charge attacks, and I guess that a couple of Brick Breaks will actually do the trick over that Carbink, since they might get out of here with a lot of energy, but also the debuff will not be appreciated at all by that Pokemon. So here comes our Brick Break. They decide to block for some weird reason, and all we need to do is to go ahead and completely farm down with those Steel Wings from our Skarmory. So as soon as the switch arrives, we're just gonna go for it, block the move, which makes a ton of sense even though we could survive and still farm down in the process. Goetmak now into the next game is gonna lead with Hakamo once again, but this time with a Gligar. This is a terrible lead to be in. Any flyer will actually be a very bad one for your Hakamo, so eventually we're just gonna switch out on our Shadowfair Alligator, and of course we managed to get out of there a Grass type. So most of the times you will try to draw out something like an electric type, like a Charjabug or a Lantern that we have said earlier on today's content, but at the same time grasses are gonna be up against you. So here is where Ice Beam can come in pretty clutch over your opponents, and as they're getting now to a lot of energy, I guess that we have already done our job, since Hakamo can easily farm down the remaining HP towards its advantage, and now they're completely shieldless. So down goes the Serperior. Now we're just gonna switch out on our Hakamo because we're expecting that Gligar to return, and to our surprise they have this amazing Dragonair. Well, to my surprise at least, because to yours you might have seen this team elsewhere. I was expecting something like a Feraligatr of their own, but that is not the case at all. Anyways, now down they go. Gligar comes into the game, and as soon as we get there on the Brave Bird, we manage to unleash the full power of the Nuke. So even if they finish us off here due to the debuff that we have, we still have one Dragon Claw worth of throwing, and Hakamo will get there pretty much immediately. So down goes that Gligar, and we manage to beat them down in the very end game with them having one of our natural threats. targets. Into the next game now with a Shadow Feraligatr. This is a pretty even match for both ends, but they end up going for the very early move, and I guess this is just a Hydro Cannon. So now with the Hydro we can easily get on our Brick Break, so yeah, able to get the shield, apply the debuff, and in the process I guess by shielding here we can easily farm down completely with our Dragon Tails. Now they come into the battle with Gligar. We're not gonna throw any charge attack, which makes a ton of sense since now we can wall down completely this Gligar with our Skarmory. Goetmak knows that he can get out of this individual battle with a ton of energy, but in the process he's also kinda obliged in using his remaining energy. Now with more action by Gligar, it is gonna drop us kinda low, but still we can survive. Charge Attack comes into the game, and of course Skarmory here with a Brave Bird can easily get a shield out of the way. Also with the Brave Bird we lowered our defense, which means that we are gonna be on a very good spot since they cannot farm a ton of energy in the process, just 2 of those volt switches, and we're gonna take advantage of it with our Hakamo, able to get to back Dragon Claws before they do anything weird, and now they're gonna be put at a very low position. So now by blocking the move, I guess that we can easily guarantee the knockout with those Shadow Claws, even though they're getting to a discharge. So much damage on our end, but hopefully we can still guarantee the amazing knockout with that Shadow Claw, and of course right after with our Hydro over the opposing Feraligatr. Into the next game now, trainers, with Hakamo against the world, and this time Bastiodon. Finally we catch a pretty nice break over that Bastiodon. We can resist the moves, we still have access to Brick Break, so this is absolutely awesome, and at the same time we can take some shields out of that Victory Bell. They are not even gonna get to a single charge attack. This is absolutely awesome, and now all we need to do is to expect the Wigglytuff to come into the game, because this is the classic toxic team with the Razor Leafer, the Charmer, and Bastiodon, the Mr. Wallface. So at this point we can easily farm down completely with our Skarmory, while we can keep our Feraligatr for the very end game. I guess our opponent knows that at this point, but they still want to stay in just in case. By blocking twice here we can easily guarantee at least the knockout over that Bastiodon. Goetmak is farming a ton of energy, but this Hydro will just take the shield, and one more Hydro later we manage to almost get the immediate knockout. Look at how much damage we can do in no time at all. Another Hydro is coming off. This is definitely gonna sweat down that Bastiodon, and since now only Wigglytuff is remaining, we're just gonna force them to leave this battle. Into the next game now, trainers, with a Sandslash from Alola on Shadow mode up in front. As long as they do not have Powder Snow, we should be fine with our Hakamo there, and we also managed to catch with the switch out on Feraligatr the amazing Ice Punch. A pretty good call, a pretty good switch by Goetmak, and now Azumarill joins the party. You know what, we can easily get here to a Hydro, but I guess that Goetmak lagged at this point because that was a random FPS drop. Anyways, another FPS drop is happening here. I don't know what's happening with all of that Go Battle lag. Hopefully though another Hydro right after will most likely finish them down, so we can draw a shield at a very nice point of time. And now with Feraligatr going down, we can easily farm down the remaining HP with Skarmory. Skarmory with energy can be pretty lethal with those brave birds, and at the same time this Azumarill cannot throw anything else other than an Ice Beam at this point. So Altaria joins the party, and now we have access to a couple of nukes for that Pokemon. We're not gonna go for the Brave Bird as it seems just for the Sky attack, and I guess that now Brave Bird can actually surprise them if they are not careful. Here comes the move, they decide to shield, which is a pretty good shield, and now by blocking I guess the Ice Punch we can easily almost one-shot down the remaining HP that they have with their Sandslash. So down goes a nice chunk, they still survive or not, and right after if we can do some extra damage with our Dragon Tails, that's gonna be absolutely awesome. Down we go to the Moonblast, but they cannot outspeed, or can they? and down we go to the Altaria. Are you kidding me? I was not expecting that loss at all, but Wetma goes down, and now we're just gonna focus another Altaria up in front, this time with our Hakamo. Hakamo with the move, FPS drop once again. This is absolutely horrible, and we're just gonna go for that shield advantage, as it seems, switching out on our Shadowfair Alligator, which is our primary safe switch. Down goes our own shield in the process, as we're charging up a ton of energy, and now with Lickitung joining the party, all we have to do is to go for back-to-back Hydro Cannons, drop this Pokemon extremely low, and perhaps if they get greedy over here, we can have the upper hand, but yeah, they're not gonna fall for this. Anyways, now Lickitung with the Body Slam, they cannot finish us off, but a couple of licks later, down we go. For a moment, I was hoping that Wetma could reach to another Hydro, but this is not the case, so down they go eventually to our Steel Wings. Altaria now joins the party, and guess what? Sky Attack time, trainers, let's get it with a knockout over the Altaria. It all depends now on their final Pokemon, and they end up having a Shadow Claw version of Typhlosion. This is absolutely horrible for us. We're just gonna keep going at it with more Dragon Tails, with the Dragon Claws. Let's see if they can farm down and obliterate down our Skarmory. As it seems, they want to throw some energy here. They cannot afford taking any more damage on their end, and unfortunately for us, no, actually no, we're just gonna go for the move. For a moment I thought that the Thunder Punch is imminent and we could fall to Typhlosion, but for some reason they farmed some extra. I don't know what happened, but we're gonna take advantage of it. So Wetma into the next battle now with the Charge Attack up in front. A very nice lead for our Pokemon, because we can resist pretty much anything they throw, and now we're having access on our Shadowfair Alligator on the switch over Skarmory, able to almost completely hold down my opponent, and now this Hydro Cannon will most likely seal the deal over Skarmory. They want to block here as they're getting to another Charge Attack. Perhaps we could survive the move, but it ends up being a Brave Bird, and guess what, trainers, that was a heck of a shield. So Wetma really knows what he's doing. Hydro Cannon here to almost finish them off, and they decide to go for a Charge Attack. Not sure if that's gonna be the best situation to be in, but still our Hakamo is gonna come into the battle, have the upper hand with all of those debuffs, since now this Quagsire is kinda walled in by our Dragon typing. Of course though, we need still to switch out on our Skarmory, get to those moves, and I think that one Sky Attack will most likely seal the deal over the Shadow debuffed Pokemon. So at this point I guess they can easily two-shot us down with Stone Edge, but still we can farm down in return with Hakamo. Down goes that Quagsire, they know that, and yeah, besides whatever else they have, only Charge Attack is gonna be the real Pokemon, so down they go eventually by top lefting this battle. Into the next game now with a Lantern up in front. Obviously this is a very good lead for us, especially with Hakamo resisting whatever they throw, and after we go for a brick break, they decide to switch out on their Vigoroth. This seems like a standard team with a pretty safe approach against the entire meta of Great League, so I'm expecting something like a Dragonair, but let's see if I stand correct. Sometimes my team building and team readings are kinda garbage, so yeah, there goes that. Anyways, before they get to another Charge Attack, we're just gonna get our hands on the Sky Attack to finish them off. They decide to take the move, and now with Lantern around, I guess that Wetma wants to get on the Brave Bird to almost one-shot down the remaining HP that they have. Not only that, but also we provoke the CMP, which is pretty great, and now they're gonna undercharge so that they can go for the extra farm. Treven at the very end, we also stand wrong on the team building aspect of our opponent, but it is what it is, and now a Hydro Cannon will most likely gonna be blocked by the opponent. They want to block the move because Trevenant, as as it seems is their big deal on this battle, and of course Seed Bomb will just finish us off. Hakamo coming into the game, able to completely farm down with those Dragon Tails. Dragon Claw for the one shot. Let's see if that's gonna work. Of course it is. Down goes Lantern, and that's gonna be an amazing victory for our team. Into the final team showcase now, everyone, with the Feraligatr up in front. Kind of a hyped up lead, to be honest. So with the Ice Beam threat around, we need to be extra careful here, and they end up going for the move right on the 7th. Now Gligar on the switch, and we keep walling them down with our team. So Dig is just gonna do less and less damage as it seems, because this Pokemon doesn't appreciate at all our unique typing. Still Flying has so many resistances. I think it has 9 or 10, which is crazy if you ask me, and Gligar of course is gonna be walled down by our Skarmory. So able to farm some extra here as they're getting to another Dig to drop us very low, but at the worst case scenario we can easily go for the Brave Bird, go down, and at least take a shield out of the opponent. If they do not block, well, that Brave Bird can easily one-shot down that Feraligatr, so the block is pretty much understandable. Now I'm just gonna get, we're gonna get our hands on the Brick Break to debuff their final Pokemon, but it ends up being the Annihilate. If they have access here to the Night Slash, things can easily go sideways, but our opponent will just keep going on the farm, and now they're gonna throw. It ends up being the Night Slash, almost took the boost here for some reason. I saw the super effective text and I thought that it was Attack Rose stuff or anything, but it wasn't, hopefully. And now with Feraligatr returning into the game, all we have to do is to reach to a couple of Dragon Claws. Our opponent knows that and they immediately go down. So that's gonna be all for today's content. Thank you for watching, trainers, till the end. Huge shout out to Whiteback, who is an amazing subscriber of this channel. And before you go, leave a huge like, subscribe to my content, and I hope to see you all into the next one.